A new report from the United Nations Special Rapporteur on the occupied Palestinian territories has highlighted the complicity of third-party states in Gaza's genocide. Francesca Albanese says international support for Israel has enabled it to violate international law in Palestinian territories. She calls on member states to suspend trade and military ties with Israel and ensure its full withdrawal from occupied areas. Those responsible for war crimes, she says, including Israeli soldiers, should be actively investigated and prosecuted. Well, let's go directly to her live for us from Cape Town. Thank you very much for joining us here at Al Jazeera. Obviously, this latest development, I'm going to start by asking you, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are that all this had been predicted and is predictable. Israel is continuing to kill, to starve, to maim, to displace, and to blame the Palestinians in Gaza. Is there anyone listening to us that had thought that what they called ceasefire was really or would be really a ceasefire? The ceasefire declared on October 11 has not stopped the assault on Gaza. On the contrary, since the 11th of October, Israel has committed 125 violations of the ceasefire, killing nearly 100 Palestinians, injuring nearly 350. While member states were applauding the ceasefire announced by President Trump, any person with an inch of common sense has been saying, but wait a second, is this possible that in the middle of a genocide, we cheer for this proposal that doesn't take into account any human rights? International law, the International Court of Justice has spoken over and over and over since January 2024 over Palestine, 3 sets of provisional measures recognizing a genocide, asking Israel to stop the genocidal act that could constitute genocide, to allow aid, and telling that the occupation is unlawful and must be dismantled totally, unconditionally, withdrawing the troops, dismantling the settlements, stopping exploiting Palestinian resources. These are the red lines. And in the face of these, member states are continuing playing this theater of the absurd. I'm ashamed. Not even as a lawyer, as a human being, because I know that for the Palestinians in Gaza, the genocide will not end. For the Palestinians in the West Bank and East Jerusalem, the violence by the soldiers and settlers will not end as long as Israel is allowed to keep its boots on the ground and to control and determine the fate of the Palestinians. So, of course, it's a web of complicity that has allowed Israel to maintain a nearly 60-year-old exploitative, rapacious occupation, cum apartheid, and it continues.
I mean, for us that know, of course, the history, many people are wondering, yes, this ceasefire might still hold, it might go through, but ultimately the 20-point plan that's been put forward by Trump, will it allow, for example, for a two-state solution? Will it end the occupation? Do you think it will?
No. Mark my words. I keep on repeating, on October 14, 2023, I said, under the fog of war, Israel is going to destroy Gaza, displace the Palestinians, and trying to reoccupy, conquest the land. How did I know? Because this is what Israel has been doing since even before existing as a state. 1947-49 and onward, the Nakba, the destruction of villages and towns and the massacres. And then in 1967, the same. And after October 7, the same. So the thing is that it's not just Israel. It's an entire system made primarily primarily of Western states, United States, Germany, the UK, my own country, regrettably, despite the fact that the people in my own country, workers, students, ordinary citizens, are revolting. But come on, also Arab states. Seriously, what are they doing to stop the carnage in Gaza? No, it's not here. It's not about humanitarian aid, It is not about discussing a two-state solution. We need to stop a genocide. What is it? Imagine a ceasefire, proposing a ceasefire after the Hutu had genocided the Tutsi, or after the Nazis had genocided the Jewish people, the Roma and Sinti. Even what you and I are talking about, the ceasefire, is nonsense. Is nonsense. Gaza has revealed to all of us the dystopic present we are part of. We can continue to pretend that this is, there is a ceasefire. What are we going to do? Is it going to happen? It's not going to happen. Gaza is going to be erased. Palestine is going to be erased and become Israel. And surprise, surprise, Palestine is being it's being erased just because it's the thorn of resistance in the side of the element that in the grand scheme of greater Israel constitutes a disturbance. But Arab states should see what greater Israel is. The map that Israeli leaders brandish, exposing greater Israel from the Nile to the Euphrates. It's already happening. It's not control of territory through expansion of physical borders. It's domination. It's annihilating resistance. And they should think further before cheering a plan that will allow further U.S. control over the region.
I wanted to refer back to this new report that you've put out, highlighting the complicity of third-party states. Is there a fear with this ceasefire, if it does go through, or whatever happens in the future, that there will be a lack of accountability over what has happened in the last 2 years?
Look, even if the ceasefire goes through, what does it mean? It will not end Israeli control over Gaza. What about the West Bank that Israel continues to annex? You see, we are operating, the questions you are asking are within an Overton window where the limits are set by what states proposed, while I am trying to argue in terms of international law. Self-determination means that the Palestinians have to be afforded the right to exist as a people, the very existence that is denied through the genocide. So no, of course I will always be critical of any agreement, of any deal that doesn't include what international law says according to what the ICJ has said. End of the occupation, end of the colonization, end of the apartheid in what remains of historical Palestine.
Right.
Without negotiation, without demilitarization, the Palestinians can govern themselves and protect themselves. What is to be stopped is the genocidal fury of Israel.
Right. Francesca Albanese, I'm going to have to leave it there, I'm afraid, because we're getting some new lines coming out of the US.
Don't miss out. Get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news and expert insights. Like, share, stay ahead.